the last show of Impact on Axis has happened. I'm not going to make this a long video because I've now botched it 4 times. I hate when I botch. It just happens. But let's make it very clear. The show wasn't bad. It had things they just wanted to wrap up. So when they go to AMC, they'll start new stuff over, making it new content. Is it going to be incredible content? No, but it will be good content. And seeing that they did things that I don't think that TNA has ever done before, here, it makes you wonder how far they're willing to go on AMC. I'm not saying there's going to be incredible work they're going to do, but at least it will be something a bit different than what you get from WWE and what happened on Raw. SmackDown supposedly was good. Raw was a total mess. NXT for Tuesday was interesting, particularly with Obafemi giving up his title after beating Leon Slater. Now let's start. Doomsday. I gotta say, I don't mind it. I wish they would call her the Doomsday Device, Danny Luna. When they say Danny, the Doomsday Device. Sounds like it'd be more dramatic, but Doomsday is not bad. We already had the Juggernaut, now we have Doomsday, which is not that bad. She went up against Harley Hudson. Now, in the previous video I did that I screwed up, I found that Harley Hudson is not a bad wrestler. She has a good look, except for the hair. I just don't think the pink hair is right for her. It makes her look off. But you can see what's in my face. That ass, though. She a good-looking woman with a nice ass. And I'm not going to say that's all she's got, because when you see her go in the ring, she works pretty well in the ring. She's not sloppy. She's actually pretty decent. But the big question is going to be, what are they going to do with Danny and... Well, not Danny. Well, yeah, how far are they going to go with Danny Luna? What are they going to do with Harley Cameron? And when she lost the match, and it was... No, why did I say Harley Cameron? I meant Harley Hudson. Sorry, that's what I did in the last video. You see Gray coming out. Well, not Gray. First you see Lee come out. She got her ass kicked. She got choked out. Then you see Gray getting into the ring. She gets destroyed. And then you get Xia Brookside getting destroyed as well. All 3 of them are destroyed. So you wonder how far they're going to push Danny in AMC. I don't know. How far they're going to push both Gray and Hudson. That's a big question too. And now that with this danger to Ling Ying Lee, how far are they going to let her continue being champion? And will she stay champion? If Danny wins, what would they do with her after that? I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. Because unlike here, when you see Dynamite, and I have to bring Dynamite into this. When you see Dynamite, and what we got yesterday, which would be the day before that, it was, let me give it to you like this. It was highly chaotic, and nothing was balanced. Everything didn't make a lot of sense. Now, I hope they'll straighten themselves out, and I want to see AEW work. But this show they had was very chaotic, and it didn't seem to be balanced. Raw was terrible. Well, SmackDown wasn't bad, and NXT wasn't bad. So I'm hoping you see something going forward on AMC for TNA. That's a lot to remember. International Championship. You got Stax Lorenzo going against Steve Macklin, who actually talked to Eric Young before his match, telling him you better win or you're going to get the cleansing like everybody else. I tried to bring you in, but you didn't want it? Okay. Now you're going to get cleansed like everybody else, because if you lose, I'm going to cleanse you. I don't know who he's going to have on his side. And that's if there's anybody there. I don't know. Only thing I do know is this. With Eric Young, it's going to be a big question. Will he do Violence by Design again with a couple of people? Or would it be something entirely different? I'm hoping it's something different. But you never know. You never know. Of course, when it came to the match, it got DQ'd because Ariana Grace got in the ring, was pissed at Steve Macklin because he was staring her down saying, "This, you shouldn't have done what you did with your dad." And essentially speaking, she was willing to let him have it. And she did. She raked eyes. There was a DQ. The Outlaws, not the NXT Outlaws, the Outlaws, they're the ones who destroyed him afterward. I'll say at least they're not using NXT Outlaws. They're just using the Outlaws, and that's not bad. I'm alright with that. Now, the System versus the Hardys, Cedric Alexander, and the one who got his butt kicked by Ubafemi, Leon Slater, which was a great showing for him on NXT. I am glad it happened. I knew he wasn't going to win, but I'm glad it happened because that was a great experience for him on NXT TV, no matter if he goes working for WWE or stays with TNA or goes to AEW. That is good experience for Leon Slater. He needed it to go up against the caliber of Ubafemi. Now, mind you, Oba has not had as much time. He hasn't. He doesn't have an experience of Leon Slater. Of course, Leon is more experienced. He's been doing it since he was 9. But he had not had that type of experience in WWE at that caliber. So it is good to see, even if it was someone who wasn't as experienced as he was, but it doesn't mean he didn't gain something from it. The match was good. In the end, it was Cedric Alexander pinning Moose. Since they're going to have their match at Genesis for the X Division title, it's good to see they're going to be doing something. The question's going to be is this. If you're going to do this on Genesis, I feel like it could have been done on the first show on AMC. I'm sorry. I am going to talk about the contract signing, but I'm going to be honest here right now. I feel that this could have been put on AMC. I'm sorry. Moose, Cedric, and Leon Slater on there instead of Genesis would have been a better fit. It's just me. I'm sorry. I know no one else is going to agree, and I'm going to say honestly, the contract signing, I also understand why it's there. I may not agree with it, but I know why it's there. I had to say it. Now, Ash of Elegance and the Elegance brand have finally found Mr. Elegant. A cameraman who did their promos. He's in my face with them. Boy's got a bigger belly than me, and I don't have a big belly. They chose a cameraman to be Mr. Elegance. What? And then there's someone after that, some Japanese wrestler, I don't recognize him, saying, I must protect the Elegance brand. And I believe I got a shot of him, he's in my face. And I'm like, who is he? Don't recognize him. He might be someone I haven't seen in a while, or someone I've never seen before. You guys can tell me below what you know. But it's like, all I know is this. Ash did those recordings before she finally stopped wrestling. Or she's still doing them. Because, of course, she's going to be part of commentary eventually. She's made that decision to become part of commentary because she can't wrestle anymore. So the question's going to be, what we going to do with Ash and the Elegance brand itself? It is very confusing and interesting at the same time that they're doing something with these women. They are comic relief. They are comic relief. If you don't like it, you're going to have to deal with it. They're comic relief. That's what they are. So at least we're getting comic relief in our product. And that's a wise thing because you can't be serious all the time. Now, the first class is over. As AJ Francis made it very clear that he was the true force behind TNA getting the deal, that it got its buys, it got its shares, and it's got its tickets. At least until Rich Swann came and whooped that ass. Now the question's going to be, where is Casey Navarro going to fit in? Because he's going to have to come back eventually. And will he fit in this feud or not? Is he recovered enough to actually come back? That's going to be the big question. I do not know. Hopefully he'll recover enough when this feud is at full swing and they don't get rid of it too quickly. Now, I know you're going to say, dude, I don't want to see AJ Francis against Rich Swann. It's not going to be fun. It's not just about being fun. It's about making sure that we have a storyline that makes some sense. You may not like AJ. You may not like AJ Francis. But AJ Francis has done some decent work during First Class. He's always been able to talk well, and he has wrestled well, other than still doing Tennessee whiskey. I wish he retired it for a year and then started using it now. But he chose not to. You get this. I feel like he could have waited about a year before he started using it again and showed that he can do other stuff, that he would have more credibility. That's just me. Of course, other people don't agree. I understand. All right, what else am I forgetting here? What am I forgetting? All right, Mara Sage. And the man who's beginning to be smitten by her? Ryan Nimitz goes to Mara Sage and says, you know, we need to deal with this. You suit kicked me in the face a couple of times. What's the deal here? It can't just be because you hate me. You want to admit that you want me? And she says no. And as she walks away, he says, I know she wants me. And she kicks his ass in the face again. And he lays flat out. Someone is smitten, all right. More than one person. And Mara Sage is acting like she's smitten by a little bit of Ryan Nimitz. I think he might be right. The way the story looks, she's going to fight him until the point is when she's going to be with him. Now, I'm not saying in real life they're really actually dating, but the way they're going with the storyline, it looks like eventually she will give in. She'll knuckle under, she'll give up, and she will be smitten by him. Now, do I believe it's a wise thing to do? It won't hurt her. It will be a storyline for her. Because right now, there's nowhere for her to work. They got to do something with her. I truly believe that they're going to have several matches, her and Ryan, more than what you think. And it's not bad for her because there's nothing wrong with a woman working with a man as long as the match makes sense. And it's obvious that she isn't getting total advantage like Tessa Blanchard was doing when it came to Sami Callihan. That bitch made no sense. Now, I'm not talking about Sami Callihan as a bitch or Tessa Blanchard as a bitch. I'm talking about the storyline itself. Neither one of them did anything wrong. That was too creative. I did not agree with because they should have never had Tessa be booked that way. Either she should have been booked like Daniel Bryan or like Chyna. That's what I think should have happened. That's me. And now the final thing we'll talk about. This is about the contract signing. And let me give it to you like this. And you already know with this, just in case I didn't say in the system with the Hardys and Cedric, I did. I believe I did. Cedric won, he pinned Moose. I believe I said that, just in case I'm forgetting. I'm going to say this. The talk was fine. Seeing Nick come out with the Call Your Shot gauntlet, basically saying when you two beat the shit out of each other, I'm going to come at you. Fine. I'm not surprised. But at least I'm going to say that Kaz spoke gently, respectfully, saying that this is my addiction. I am addicted to my championship and I will do whatever it takes to keep it. Fine. That's okay. That's good. But the thing I liked the most was when Santana started talking and said, I want to keep it with you a buck. I want to keep it basically honest. He spoke about AEW. Yes, he did. He spoke about them both. He spoke about Kaz and him being in the same company a couple of years ago, and they were miserable, which they were. So Cal not got anywhere. When he was part of the Pinnacle, what was it? No, was it the Pinnacle? What was it called again? Chris Jericho's faction? I forgot. Oh my gosh. You guys are going to remind me, and it's been so many years, and I've forgotten it already. But essentially speaking, when you see Santana, who actually had something going, and then it just stopped, there's no reason why he wouldn't get into a depression, because you know how AEW works. Guys, there's no way you don't know how AEW works. If you don't know, Tony Khan, if he's interested in you, will basically make you do constant matches with almost no storyline. And then when he's used you enough times, he lets you just sit and do nothing. Look at Camille. She's not injured. Willow is injured, but before he was injured, he wasn't doing anything anyway. Ricky Starks wasn't doing anything. Tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not. So, I am not surprised Santana probably got into a bad depression and started drinking heavily because of what was going on in AEW. But he did say to both him and Kaz, we both left that company, we bet on ourselves, we came back to TNA, and look where we are. You're champ, I'm challenging, I can become 2-time champ. I like that. I honestly did like that segment. And of course, there was no fight, and Santino is still playing a broken fire. Words are hard. Broken father, which is fine. So this entire storyline has been doing well, and I haven't forgot about Order 4. I'm leaving it for last. But this storyline, when it comes to Santana, when it comes to Kaz, I still want it at Genesis. I'm sorry. I see the triple threat for the X Division should be on the main show for AMC. And I understand why people would say, dude, you cannot let the world title just be on Genesis. It's got to be here for the premiere on AMC. It'll get more hype. Yes, it will. But after what has happened, after Bound for Glory, 1 month of doing nothing but showing repeats, reruns in a documentary, and then his first offense, he's forced to drop it. You can say whatever you want. That was the wrong call. He could have still been champ and debuted on AMC. He could have still done it. I do not agree with this. He should regain his title at Genesis. Not just because he'll make money, but because that's where it should be. Now, mind you, I understand what you're saying, because I know people are going to say, dude, you're wrong. I understand it. I just don't agree with it. Under normal circumstances, you're right. Because if you're going to make a really good impression, that would be to do it. But look at what we got before that. That's the problem. You screwed over Santana for no apparent reason. None but to give the title to Kaz to what? Make it become something in AMC? That's wrong. I'm sorry. It's wrong. It's not the right type of booking. I understand if it wasn't that part, this would be perfectly fine. But it's wrong. This should be at Genesis, because Santana deserves it at Genesis. Because they fucked him over after Bound for Glory, and they fucked themselves for 4 weeks of no content. 2 documentaries, 2 reruns. Then they show Santana, and then even though they made sure he didn't look beaten, like easily, like a bitch, he still lost. And now they're giving him a chance to get his title back at AMC. With 2 days later, or a day or two later, on Genesis, they may, if they double dip, I'm going to say this right now. If they double dip, if there was some screwy ending on AMC next week, and they state this is wrong, and Santino says this is wrong, this is not supposed to happen, you're going to get a second try again at Genesis, I will be angry. Because then they're hedging the bets, and that's bullshit. They either should have let him have it at Genesis, or they should let him have it at AMC. If they do a DQ, they get him screwed again, and they give him a second chance at Genesis, I give my word, I will rant. But it's just me. Peace.